Hello, I'm John White. Today we're going to be talking about some garden pest problems and looking at some of the damage that pests do. And one of the things that's real common in summer gardens is squash. And unfortunately, one of the major insect problems on squash is the squash bug. Matter of fact, it's so prevalent that a lot of people think the seed comes with the squash bug eggs. But the first thing we want to do is inspect the plant. So we want to check the foliage, both the underside and the upper side of the leaves. If we see any signs of little hard brown eggs on either the underside or the above part of the leaf, can be on the stalks, maybe even find it down close to the ground. So you want to do a real thorough inspection. If you can find where those eggs are being laid and either get that piece of leaf torn off or be able to remove that stem that the eggs are on, you're way ahead of the game, because that's taking care of the squash before it even shows up. So we're getting rid of it that way. If you don't catch them early enough, then they will go into the nymph stage, where they're just the young is newly hatched. They will crawl out and be crawling all over the plant. If you are going to use an insecticide, whether it's organic or inorganic, that is a good time to use the insecticide, because the young are much easier to kill off than the older adults. And then of course the adults are kind of a brownish color. They avoid sunlight, so a lot of times you will not see them because they'll be hiding on the undersides of leaves, or they'll be on the back side of the stem when you're trying to find them. So one of the ways to keep squash bug off, of course, is to get a lot of sunlight reflected. People have used aluminum foil mulch to get the light to bounce back up and catch some of the undersides of the leaves, and that does help as the plant's young. But as it gets older and overgrows the foil, then the squash bug does move back in. So you want to be careful with that. But there are some insecticides that are labeled. You want to be careful because the squash plant is insect pollinated. So if you're using a lot of insecticides that are dangerous to bees and pollinating insects, you will kill off your insects that are helping you produce your crop. So you want to be careful on that. Other problems that we have, in this particular garden, we've had a lot of striped cucumber beetle, or excuse me, spotted cucumber beetle, and it's been hitting the squash. Over here on the beans, we can see that there's a lot of damage that's been done to the foliage. We can see all the holes in the foliage, and you can see the cucumber beetles just flying all over the place, and that is a spotted cucumber beetle. It is a foliage-eating insect, so it will do quite a bit of damage to the foliage on your plants. And again, there are several different insecticides, both organic and inorganic, that you can use. Make sure they are labeled on that particular crop that you're using, and that you make sure that you follow the directions on the container before you put it on the product. We also have an insect called the flea beetle, and this is a little tiny metallic blue-black beetle. It's also a foliage eater, and it likes to hit eggplant, sometimes your peppers, and you'll a lot of times find on some of your weeds. And it chews little tiny holes into the leaves. And again, that insect needs to be controlled. It will do quite a bit of damage to the foliage on your vegetable plants, so we want to get those taken care of. And last but not least, with the dry weather that we've been having in the southern part of the state, is grasshoppers. And as a lot of our foliage on the rangeland and mesas has begun to dry off with the heat, those insects have moved in to where they can find greener pastures, and a lot of times it's your yard that's the green part on it. So we want to identify these insects, be sure you know what is a harmful insect and what is not, and be able to get those controlled and get them taken care of before you have damage done to your particular crop. So it's important to identify the pest, and you can contact your county extension office, get that sample taken in, get it identified so that you're not killing off beneficial insects. Determine what kind of control strategy you're going to use. If it's a chemical strategy, you want to make sure that you read the label, read the directions carefully and thoroughly, and make sure that it can be used on that particular crop, and you wait the recommended amount of time before harvest. So that is real important. So again, just get the insect identified, and then you can match up the control method once you've got it identified. So again, bring those samples into your county extension office and we can get those identified so that you can get some control and get a good bountiful harvest off your garden.